it's pretty obvious, maybe not obvious, but I love this gentleman sitting beside me. And I always say my favorite quote is, I don't love you because of who you are, but for who I am when I'm with you. And I love hanging out with people that make me better. And that's what life is about. You can see I want to talk about instant change and really the power of now. And I want to tell you a little bit of kind of a predate to this conversation. Up until 2003, I was in a rock star situation. I had literally 10 people working for me. Just everything I was doing there to make sure that the world, represented me. And I had a massive heart attack, and I was gone. And not only did I have to be life flighted someplace. When I woke up, I was in a place I'd never been, a city I'd never been in before. And I looked over, and in my room was my wife. And a friend of mine and business partner had actually driven her through the night so she could be with me. The doctor, first thing he said to me is, "Peter, I can't believe I'm talking to you. We gave you rights last night." He had no idea why I'm alive. And I realized at that moment that my life's going to be different. Not only because of the fact that I really learned when I say time is finite, I understood what that meant that moment. And the doctors told me that when we ask you to do exercise from this time on, we're going to tell you to go smell the flowers. Just look at the birds, because there's no reason you should be here. And they told me that I can't get my heart above 120 beats a minute, otherwise I'd be dead. So every day I was thinking about, is today the day I'm going to die? And what really kind of, I was able to look at life and say, listen, what I do today matters, and who I do it with matters to me. It's a way of me saying I love you, because I did not know there'd be tomorrow. And I also realized when I'm sitting with somebody, I've got to get something done. I created a thing where I said, listen, do me a favor, where I used to be sitting down in a consulting situation where I'd ask people to kind of go through business theory and I'd get people on the phone. I realized, you know what? I don't know if I'll be able to be on that phone call with you. So do me a favor, call them and tell them Peter loves you. And what I found at that moment, my friend said, not only when I called them and say that, they invited me to the home for dinner. It wasn't anything you'd ever expect in a business relationship. 7 months ago, I had another heart attack. I actually ruptured an artery, and I had a clot that actually stopped it. It allowed me to get to the hospital, but 10 days later, I had a stroke. So if we were talking 3 months ago, I'm not sure I would have had any of the words. And what's been very interesting, and I was sharing this yesterday, when I'm talking about things that I'm really passionate about, and when I'm talking to people that I really connect with, or people that I really believe are going to make a difference in this world, I have all the words. If you hear me talking to somebody where I'm searching for the words, I'm going, it means this is not something that I need to be around. My brain understands that. And understanding right now, I'm probably speaking okay, and it's because of this environment with people who love that are around me, and somebody I love, and what we're going to do in the future. All right. So, instant change became out of one story. There was a young boy that my wife. I was called by a friend of mine who said, "You need to meet somebody. They want to create a foster care agency," and I met this person, and I asked my wife to come with me. She hates business meetings. She doesn't want to be part of anything. And but I said, come to this one. I think it's going to be pretty important. I was adopted. I have a twin sister that lives in a mobile home with her front teeth knocked out of her face. She's had a very different life from me. I was very amazed that how can we start at the same place in life and have a different, potentially ending. We're not any different, but I had different opportunities. My wife's stepfather is in jail for life for what he did to children. So she was doing things when she was 8 years old that no girl should ever be asked to do. So my wife and I are passionate about kids. And I'm very passionate about the fact that I don't want to see a child hurt. And I don't want a child who's not being loved today to be unloved. And the system's not set up for that. So when I met a young boy who was actually set on fire by his parents, 90% of his body was burned. He doesn't sweat anymore, he bleeds. And what he went from being what he thought was love to the fact that he doesn't even know what love is. He doesn't understand why he couldn't be with his parents. And he was being passed around from family to family because he was bleeding instead of sweating. He'd ruined mattresses. And so they literally were pushing him around. And it's like he was this commodity that we want to love you, but we can't. One family actually put plastic over the bed and actually made him bleed more. But when I met him, I couldn't walk away from the fact that how could you act like you never met him? And what blew me away, he lived in a very significant, rich community in Dallas. And I started to look at this problem and I realized if we can't create the ability to love somebody this moment, then it's broken. And that's what we wanted to create. So this instant change came from his life in regards to what are we going to do this moment? And if it doesn't exist, then we've got to create it.